What's going on, everybody? Ready for another night of Facebook Live? Let's see if we can get some viewers on here. I'll give you a few minutes to come on here. Hope everybody's doing well. Hey, Nicholas Wilkie, good to see you, buddy. Hey, Rob Brunk, good to see you, buddy. Hey, Diana, good to see you. Hey, Mark, good to see you. Hey, Lottie, good to see you. I tell you what, folks, y'all are in for a treat tonight. Hey, Benjamin Alley, good to see you, buddy. All right. Give me just a few seconds. Hang on a second. What happened here? All right. Let's see. Hey, y'all, share the video. And while I'm inviting McCray, share the video. Trenton Williamson, what's going on, buddy? Congratulations on the new position, man. Hey, Mike Hazel Baker, good to see you, buddy. All right, give me just a second, y'all. Hey, I'm gonna see. Hang on one second, guys. Trenton, what you up to, man? Jeff Steele, good to see you, buddy. Hey, there's David. All right. All right, David, all you got to do is hit approve, my friend. Hey, Jason and Sarah, good to see you. What's going on, my friend?
Well, just trying to make it, trying to make it. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I was just listening to your version of Didn't It Rain, man.
Well, we stole that arrangement from the Spear family. It was
I love
band
your
of the
little dance that comes with it.
well, that actually came by accident. A lot of people don't realize that. We were singing original guys. We were singing. We were on a long trip. It was one of their first long trips. I mean, they had never done this. So see, some of them had traveled a little bit, but nothing to that extent. And so it was getting towards the trip. We were out probably close to 20 days, and they were getting tired. And when they were getting blah, it was just kind of. So I had learned this from George Johnson. I'd learned this from Ed O'Neill. And when you have a situation like that, if you can get them laughing, or get them to just get them in a surprise them, do something to get them out of this thing they're in, sleep or whatever. So when we got to that part, it was that tenor doing the where it goes to the rain, 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 rain. I just started doing a little kick there like that. Put one foot on the tenor rain and one foot on my rain and that kind of thing. So, and the people got into it. Well, we had a few more days on the trip, and I didn't do it for the next 2 or 3. Then we were in a major concert type thing, auditorium, when I said a ticket event. So I said, I'm gonna try that again to see what happens. And so it just that happened, and then we did it with Ben Spear in Canada, and so it just kind of they saw it on television, different things. So then it kind of went on. So
What's been going on with you, man?
well, finishing up some the new Dub Brother dates that we had this year. We came off the road in June. That was me and Tony Peace and Wesley Smith. And it was just something we felt like it was just kind of tough to do. I still lived in North Carolina, and Tony lived in Atlanta. Wesley lived in Alabama. We find ourselves on the finance side. Somebody, sometimes it was if I had to drive, and by the time you're done the numbers, I'd have a little more money spent into it than others, and vice versa. And so it was just kind of financially just wasn't coming along like we wanted it to. And then it was just just tough. I was driving 8 hours one way, and then sometimes they'd have to do the same thing. So it wasn't no kind of big fuss or anything. We had a great time, had fun. Just didn't get the quality dates that we needed. I mean, there's a lot of groups out there. We wasn't on radio, and we didn't have a hit. And it takes a lot of things to come together to make a living at it. So then we decided that in June, and then I'd been I had prayed and told the Lord I would surrender. If the door opened, I would go speak and preach, and I did at some places. And then had the door opened up after that to pastor the church, and so I'm pastoring a church in Colerain, North Carolina. And then we're going to do some original Dub Brothers stuff next year. We're going to be in Memphis, and so I still do some singing. I mean, singing is still a part of me. I've done it for, man, I started at 5 years old. Went with Dixon All the Boys. I was 17. I stayed there 11 years, and Dub Brothers from 98 to almost say now. You know. So, I mean, it's been a big part of my life. But I'm enjoying being home. You know, my kids got 4 children. My daughter just started college. I'm able to go to ball games and things that I wasn't able to do before because we were gone. When the Dub Brothers was going strong, we were gone 4 or 5 days every week. Gone doing every other month, 10-day or at least a 20-day trip. So we stayed gone a lot. But we're, I'm enjoying preaching. I really, really am. I'm enjoying the people. I'm enjoying, just studying what God's showing me in His Word. But I'm always going to be a quartet man. You know, that's in my blood, and I'll always be in my blood. I miss being at the National Quartet Convention, different things like that. So I think that's going on this week. So a lot of people getting to hear some great singing. But I think my style is sort of, I'll be honest with you, at this time, my style of singing and my way of presenting it is not really the trend now. So the way I did it, the way Jim Hamill did it, the way, different ones, Hosey Lister and different things. It's a whole different ball game now. Record companies look at it a different way, so I don't know if, like I say, my real traditional at that time look on it. And then when I tried to kind of change and do more of a Christian gospel country type thing, nobody wanted to see me do that. So, for me, it's just, I just walk the steps that God allows.
So what was one of the most funniest road stories for you?
Well, the old time one is, for me, there's a lot of different ones, a lot of different things, but I guess one with the Dixon Moldy Boys is the guys getting thrown out of a hotel while me and Ed was playing golf, and it was because the guy wanted everybody to take a shower real quick so he could sell the room again. We had what's called a cleanup room, and so I mean that was kind of funny. But I'd have to say with the Dub Brothers, Berman Porter kept a lot of things really, really funny, and it was all the time practical jokes. And Richard Simmons, who was the original piano player for us. In fact, Danny Jones was with us traveling. He was on the bus. He can verify this. Richard bought some fake lottery tickets And right there in Oklahoma, where we fueled up, was a mini casino on the other side of it, and then different stores around. So when we fueled up and got on the bus and started heading out, well, we got down probably 30 miles down the road or so. Richard decides that he's going to get Berman with his tickets. So he just basically says, "Man, I was going to get. I got these tickets. I just can't do it. I mean, I just can't do it. Berman, you want this? You want this ticket I got? You can have it. You don't, if you win something, don't worry about it. You can have it." So Berman takes the ticket and says, "Oh, okay." So Berman said, "Well, I'm gonna go on to bed." And so all of a sudden, Berman comes running back up. "Stop the bus! Stop the bus! I just won $25,000." And we were all like, "Man, we ain't got time for that." We all knew what was going on. He said, "Stop it now or I'm jumping out. That's $25,000. And man, I thought Danny Jones and Rich finally, Richard said, "Are you sure? You might want to read everything." And by that time, Berman reads that fine print. It was letting you know that it was fake. Berman goes, "That's wrong, man. Y'all done me wrong." But there's some of them there's a lot of different things. So,
What about the most memorable?
oh wow. For me, one of the most memorable is recording with Mosey Lister and him producing and arranging everything as a singer and as a songwriter and doing arranging myself. I learned so much in the 3 days that he spent with us in the studio. Um, and not only that, a lot of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, I mean, he was no doubt a legend. He's really the only true gospel singer has always made his living just writing gospel songs. And I mean, that's hard to do, but he did it. So, some would say, "Well, what about Bill Gaither?" Well, he was a school teacher. I'm talking Mosey wrote his whole life. He either wrote for, publishing companies and different things. It was all gospel music. So that was very memorable there for me. I mean, he was such a, it was just amazing how he worked in the studio and how he could just change arrangement and just write it out just as fast as, his brain was clicking. So, and then, and watching, there were times that you would be in a real strong service and you knew that, okay, the Holy Spirit has took over this thing, and you step back and you really watch God use these songs and different ones that will be in touch and ministered to, and then later on you get these, back then, before the email got started, you get letters in office and different things. And then, so, I mean, there's a lot of memorable moments from that to, oh man, almost freezing to death in the Canadian Rockies. Everything froze up. We were riding down the road, and it's freezing like 60 below zero out there, man. And all of a sudden, everything goes down. The bus, and I mean, it got cold quick. And back then, the cell phones was those big phones, man. I mean, I'm kind of just, you had to hold up to your ear like this. And Ed had one, and you didn't use it unless you really needed to, because it really cost a lot of money to. So he was able to he had a little bit of a signal, and he was able to get out. And they came down a huge tow truck. Anyway, got us into a truck stop there in Canada. And I remember Ed looking at the guy who ran the shop, and he said, "How much would it cost if to turn everything you got on in here's got heat and thaw that bus out?" And so I think he gave him like $50 or maybe $100, I don't know. And just standing there watching that, I mean, just loving it. That heat was on. and watching that water, the ice melting over everything, that looked like a waterfall to me. And finally, in about maybe a couple of hours, Ed goes, "See if it'll start." And it's, and he said, "Let's go, boys. We got a date to make." We went right back down the same route that we took that Jack had got us. But we made the date. So, I mean,
So, who would you say has inspired you musically?
that's a great question. So many. As a singer, I had someone ask me one time, who would you say is the greatest lead singer? In an interview years ago. And the best way I could answer that for me is I would say, if I had the range of James Blackwood and the joy in my voice of Jake Hess, the command that Jim Hamill possessed, the power of Ed Enoch, and the smoothness of Jack Toney, and the cut that Dale Shelnut had, and the conviction of Donnie Sumner, I'd be the greatest singer in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I say it that way because there were so many singers. The thing that I noticed today is singers and young singers coming up, and it's natural, but they all sing the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They all trying to sing the same kind of style or stylish or moves and things. Not all of them, but a lot of them that I hear. And same way with groups. I listen to the radio and I hear these. I can't tell one group from the other group. It sounds like everybody's singing the same ballad, and everybody's singing the same fast song. When you back in the day, and let me say add one more thing to the lead singer thing too. I forgot the consistency of Glenn Payne. Glenn Payne was the most consistent lead singer I ever heard, or singer. Period. He was very consistent. But and I would say the feeling of Rusty Goodman too. There's a difference in conviction and feeling. There's a thing that, in my opinion. But anyway, I named all those singers to say this. You knew the time, two notes, that's Jim Hamill. You knew two notes, that's Jake Hess. You knew two notes, that's Glenn Payne. You see what I'm saying? So that means you knew that was the Kingsmen. You knew that was the Cathedrals. Ivan Parker was his voice was very, very identifiable. And so you knew that was Gold City right off the bat. And that's what I tried to take different things from different singers, but still be McCray Dove. So I hope I've been able to accomplish that. So when someone says, I sound like McCray Dove singing, whether it's good or bad, they'll know that's McCray Dove. But all those singers, all of them inspired me in different ways. Ed O'Neill's a big part of my life. When I went with him, he put me out front, and he taught me along the way. I went at 17. I stayed. I was 28 years old, and very, very his dedication and how to survive and different things. So Ed O'Neill's right at the top of the list, if not the top. Sitting around with people like Glenn Payne and George Yance, I learned a lot from them. I learned how to command a stage from Jim Hamill. I'd come off the stage as a young kid, and he would take the time to say, "Hey, Mike, you went too long on this right here." Different things. So there's a lot of just it's hard to pinpoint it down to one. I would say if there was one, it would have to be Ed O'Neill. If I was going to say, okay, this, because I stayed with him so long, and so I learned a lot from him.
What about personally? Who has influenced you personally?
In the sense of what?
Like who? Like personal family? Who's influenced you personally?
Wow, that's a good question. I stayed on the road so much. My dad, in some sense, I mean, my dad struggled a big part of his life with addiction to alcohol, but the Lord changed him and saved him. But his he's always worked hard. That influenced me too. So I worked hard at what I did, just like he worked hard at things that he did. Personally, I'm going to go back. I'm going to say Ed O'Neill because I came with him when I was a teenager. And so coming from a little town, a little redneck town, so to speak, and I'm proud of where I came from, but we settled things pretty much two ways. It was either yes or no, it was either black or white. So Ed taught me there's a whole different way of handling life. Crazy and being short like I've been my whole life, there's times you felt like you had to prove you could do something, and there was times they would say, so what? There's bigger things to do. So personally, it was a big influence on me because he taught me a new, different way to live, a different way of life than just one thing. So I'd say Ed O'Neill. And I tell you, good conversations I had with Arthur. I was good friends with Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith was, he was an artist. He was one of the first to have a variety television show in the 50s, very well known for his songwriting, guitar boogieing, dueling banjos, and then also big gospel songs. I Saw a Man, and I've Been with Jesus, Fourth Man in the Fire, and a lot of different songs. We did a lot of television with him, so me and him had in the first 3 years of the Dub Brothers, we did a lot of PBS television with him. And we would he always would close his program out with a gospel song, and we were the group that would sing it before the show. So just sitting around and just picking his brain and learning things from him. He's a big influence that, you could do a lot of things and still serve and love the Lord and take care of your family with things of that nature. So I've had a lot of good influences in my life.
So, buddy, how can we follow the Dub Brothers as y'all get dates coming up? Like you said, y'all gonna still be doing some things.
I would say the biggest thing, the original Dub Brothers Quartet has a Facebook page, and that would be the best way. We don't do enough singing, and I preach and sing. I also got a roofing business that I'm in and that I've got going, and so that's why I'm dressed like I am right now, looking at houses and stuff because of the storm.
Are you evangelizing or are you preaching?
I pastor a church, First Assembly in Coleraine, and then there's places that they won't be, that come speak. I spoke in Gallipolis, Ohio, and some different places. So, but like I say, now I'm finishing up what dates the new Dub Brothers have, and that'll be with me, my brother Eric, got a good friend that's singing the tenor part. Larry Hustis has been filling in on the tenor. Now we did a little Dub Brother reunion last Sunday at the church I pastor, which was me and my brother and Jonathan Price, who sang about 2 years with us. Great tenor. and his wife's family. In fact, Jonathan's wife's grandmother and grandfather, they're members of the church I preach at. So they came down to visit. So we kind of threw that together. That was fun. But I ain't, well, like I said, we'll do Memphis in June of next year. I think that's on the 13th of June. And we've had a few calls and on some dates that they're trying to work the details out and see if we can pull it off. But so we'll see what happens. But I still try to keep up with different ones. And I couldn't tell you who's got the number one song. I mean, I don't know who's on the front page of Singing News. I've been out of it for a while on that. I mean, even the new Dub Brothers, we didn't keep up with it that much. So, but there's a lot of good young talent, and a lot of I think a lot of new talent. I don't want to see. There's nothing that you can do to stop it, I guess. But I'm still from the old school of singing. I'm still. I like that sound. I'm not really a track guy. I'm not a big fan of tracks. I've had to use them as well down through the years to get through something. But I'd still rather hear four guys at a piano and a bass guitar than I would all other. I mean, to me, the art's been taken away out of it. And I think the way they record and digitally do things and tune it to death, to me, it's took all the real true feeling out of it. That's just my opinion. Don't mean nothing. I'm sitting at the house and everybody else is down, around traveling and singing. But I do believe there is an audience out there who doesn't really care that much about that kind of a sound. I think I think they like it. I'm not saying go around with a big old band. I like that too. I've done it. I've tried with Dub Brothers band. I mean, we had one for I don't know how many years, 4 or 5 years or more. That's hard to do. I mean, financially, it really, really is. And I know it. The first thing people will say when they hear me say this, well, I'd like to have a piano player. I understand all that. I mean, I understand that. I'm not knocking it. I'm just telling you, I like to hear full voices with a piano player, and I like it with just a piano, full vocals, if you want to get right down to it. But, and look, one of the best sounds out there right now, in my opinion, is when Sega Half Quartet gets up there. I mean, right now in the business, to me, if I was going to pick a quartet, to me, they've got the best sounding quartet because it's a piano and a bass guitar, and maybe they use tracks on things, I don't know. But what I've heard has always been, you got Wolf on the piano. That is a great sounding quartet. There's a certain sound and a feeling you get with that when everything is live than you do with a track with about 10 voices on it with stacked to death and all that kind of stuff. I mean, to me, it's a fake blend and it's a fake feel, and it makes everybody have the same sound to me. I've got no dog in the hunt, so I can say how I feel about it, man. I mean, I to me, that's a great, and the Dix Echoes, great sound. I mean, there's just this feeling. Now, do I say that everybody needs to go to that? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Because there's some groups that are fantastic with using the tracks and that big thing. I mean, but I'm like this. I like vanilla ice cream, but I don't want to eat it all the time.
Yeah.
So to me, if you had a group, a quartet over here with a piano and bass, and they do their thing, and then you got a group that's in your face like the Dub Brothers or the Kingsmen back in the day were. Now you got some chocolate over here, and you got strawberry over here, and you got, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the presentation is everybody's presentation is different that way too.
Right.
Now when I sat out there, I mean, I went to some singings, had about 10 groups on the program, and all of them, everyone presented it the same way. So to me, that's why I say I'm in the business as now. I'm just a little bit too old school sounding. But I'm not just, if you're going to have a band, have a band. You know, go ahead and get you a steel player. I did it. Get you a steel player and guitar player, drum, bass. You're going to be a live band, be a band. Don't sit over there with one instrument and the rest of it's tracks. That's not a band.
Yeah.
So,
Well, buddy, I appreciate you coming on with me. Tell people how they can visit your church, man.
well, it's First Assembly of God. It's in Colerain, North Carolina. That's Coleраin, North Carolina. And it is on Perrytown Road. And it's Perrytown Assembly of God. And let me say that one more time, because some people think it's Perrytown, North Carolina, but it's not. The name of the church is Perrytown Assembly of God, and it's in Colerain, North Carolina, and it's on Perrytown Road. And on Sunday mornings, we started Sunday school at 10 o'clock, worship service at 11, and on Sunday nights, we start at 7 o'clock, and then on Wednesday night, prayer meeting, we start at 7:30. So that's where I'll be tomorrow night. So if anybody's close by there, y'all can go ahead and Google it. It'll pull it up. So I'd love to have you. So I've already had a lot of messages. People want to somebody to tape it or something or record it. But we just came out of revival. Had Larry O'Rail with us. Had a wonderful time. Very powerful service. And had a big old community picnic this past Saturday and the gospel sing. And I spoke a little bit on Sunday morning. So God is good to us all the time, man. And he takes us on, there's different seasons that he brings us into our life. And I'm not going to say that I'll never be back out there again singing full time, but I just know at this time, this is where I really feel the Lord wants me. But I will be still singing some. I mean, I'm not going to give that up. That's something I've done for a long time. But I'm enjoying it. And so it's I say this, man. I've learned this: just walk the steps that God allows in your life, and if you'll do that, it's very easy to see Him move and do things. And don't get all uptight. I mean, I thought, man, my career's over. What am I going to do? But when you walk through the door that you know that God wants you to walk through, there's a peace that comes over you, because I thought, man, I've been out here, I was out there singing practically all my life. How am I going to let this go, or how am I? But there's a peace that came over me, and like I say, I got 4 children. My daughter started college this year, and I got 3 boys. One turns 16 next month, and the twin boys turn 12 tomorrow. So, I need to be here as much as I can. I'm a dad, and I need to be daddy. And so, but I'll always love singing in a quartet. That's my greatest in the world of music. I've done it trio. I've done it solo. I'm a quartet man. You give me an old time tenor and a good low bass and a smooth baritone and a good piano player, and I promise you that's all I'd ever need.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on with me.
Man, I appreciate you inviting me, and I enjoy watching from time to time. I'm able to catch it, and sometimes I'm not, because I have to. I get in kind of late, and I kind of try to help with homework and try to get my honeydew list done and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But keep
You
doing
are
what you do.
such an encouragement to me, and I appreciate you coming on.
Man, keep doing what you're doing. And when you love it, you got a passion for it, man. You know, give it all you got, and enjoy life, man. Enjoy what you love to do. You know, that's what I did for a long time.
Well, I appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody that came on and listened. I'm gonna say hi to everybody, and there's a lot of a lot of good talent that I've seen pop up there. Brent Mitchell, big talent, and but anyway, y'all take care, and if I'm around the area, come see me.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right, my friend. Thanks for inviting me. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.